Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys. Fuji Guys are going to show you a video on the first look of our SL Series cameras. Now, the S Series camera we've made very popular. They're very much this style of camera with a long zoom. The SL Series is a new version with the lithium battery. Also, there's a few new kind of upscale features on it. Why am I saying this video is the first look for the SL Series as opposed to a particular model? Well, there's a few different model numbers, Billy. And depending on the model number that you have, you may have a slightly larger or smaller zoom, or you might have a slightly higher or lower megapixel. In Canada here, we're selling the SL280, which is a 28 times zoom and 14 megapixel. But like I say, depending on which country you're in, some of these other models, all the bells and buttons and everything are all in the same position, and that's the purpose of this video, just to show you what all those do. Okay, so Billy, give us a first look at an SL Series camera.
Okay, guys, so let's take a look at the front of the camera. Of course, you have the lens. In this particular model here, it's an f3.1 to 5.9 lens, a Super EBC Fujifilm lens.
Nice lens.
And, you know, nice grip to it. Let's take a look at, I guess, on the front still there's an AF assist lamp that you can notice right there. And I guess there's nothing else. So if you look on the side of this camera now, a few things. We've got the pop-up flash button. So when you want to use a flash, you got to push that button up. And when that's up, you can finally change the different flash modes, and I'll show you where you can do that. You got the speakers on the camera, so it does record video, HD video, and you can play back and hear the audio right on the camera. You have an area where you can attach one of the straps, of course. And if we take a look at the opposite side of the camera, it's the other side where you can attach the shoulder strap. That's also included with this model. Behind this little cover, you have access to the mini HDMI port that allows you to play back your images on HD TV, to play back both videos and photos. You also have the USB/AV output connector right there, and with the USB cable allows you to download images, and you also have the video cable option to connect to a standard television as well through that port. Okay, take a look at the bottom of the camera. You have the tripod socket here. It's a standard tripod mount, and beside it, of course, you have access to the area where the lithium battery is used. Because it's an SL series, it is lithium powered, which is great for people who want to buy a camera right off the shelf and not have to buy any additional batteries. They are rechargeable. It does come with the charger inside the box itself, and there's also a slot there for the SD card. So the SD card is the only thing that's not included. So we do recommend you pick up at least a class 4 SD card for HD video, and it takes both an SD, SDXC, or even SDHC card, and they're just really the difference in capacity of the cards itself. Again, a class 4 at least or higher is recommended for that. Let's take a look now, I guess, at the top of the camera. So as Greg mentioned earlier, perhaps you do have the hot shoe now that wasn't available on the S series models, which means you can now, in low light situations, purchase an optional EF20 or EF42 flash, which this one here allows you to tilt and swivel, where the EF20 just allows you to tilt and basically bounce it off the ceiling. Okay, and that's where that is, but of course the camera does have a built-in flash itself. We have several dials here. Of course, you got the shutter button, and allows you to take pictures. You can push halfway down to pre-focus and all the way to take the picture. Zoom in, zoom out through the controls right here. And one thing I failed to mention earlier, on this side of the camera, there is an additional zoom in, zoom out option right here, so that if you're trying to do videos perhaps, it's a little easier to press than pushing it up here instead. Okay, so there's two options.
Also for vertical shooting, I find it's good.
That's right, and your thumb is always like that. That's a good point, Greg. You have an access button to the continuous shooting mode. It allows you to shoot the high-speed shooting that this camera offers, as well as some bracketing modes. You have this little, which I guess an instant zoom option or instant crop option that allows you to reconfigure the different crops on this camera, so that when you take the photo, it auto crops where the guidelines show up on the back of this camera. So if you wanted just to do that, you could. You have the on and off switch, and you have to actually hold it down a little bit for the camera to switch on, and again hold it down a little bit for the camera to power off. So I'm just going to leave that on. You have the F button, and the F button gives you quick access to some of the exposure controls like ISO options, the image size, you know, whether it's shooting at or the quality setting, which is shooting at the highest megapixel, and or the different color options. You can shoot in chrome and also in black and white as well. So that's a cool little feature to have that's built onto the camera. So like the film store is what I call it. You have the mode dial. The mode dial allows you to change from the SL auto mode that changes between different scenes, and whether it's a macro scene, night scene, or whatnot. And then you have a different shooting options, including full manual control, so you can adjust both aperture and shutter speeds. You do have a video mode button there that allows you to do HD video by pushing the shutter button. The panoramic mode that allows you to take 3 shots and it auto stitches it together. It's actually a great feature and definitely one to take a look at. And of course you have a bunch of scene position modes, you know, a numerous amount of scenes that you can just toggle through the back of the camera right here. From night scenes, fireworks scene,
and of course, the camera's optimizing all of its settings for each of these settings individually. So for people that really don't know a lot about photography, but have taken enough pictures to know that unique situations, especially to do with the type of lighting that they're shooting in, can require to override the camera's manual controls. But if you don't know what to do with it, scene positions are a great mode to use. Okay,
continuing on, I guess one last thing I didn't point out was this little LED thing that's on here, and that's just a light that lights up when it's either writing to the memory card and or it's charging the internal capacitor for the flash. So if you notice you can't take a picture with the flash, you wait till that light turns solid green for it to take the photo. It sort of goes off when it's ready to shoot actually. Taking a look at the back of the camera, of course you have the LCD screen. It is improved over a previous generation, as well as the EVF as well. On this model, it has a higher resolution, so that it's a lot more bright, a lot more clearer. You do have the diopter adjustment on the side here. And just beside the diopter adjustment, there is a mini microphone right there as well, which I didn't point out earlier. You have the EVF button, so that you can toggle between the LCD screen and the EVF. And the EVF is always great in these cameras because it allows you to take pictures in bright sunny days and makes composition a lot easier to do when you're actually holding the camera like this, especially for a long zoom camera, Greg, right?
Less camera shake.
Looking at more buttons on the back of this camera, you have the exposure compensation button that allows you to over and under compensate. In addition to that, it also allows you to toggle between, say, the manual shooting modes to control both shutter speeds and aperture. You have the directional pad that goes up, down, left, right to navigate the menus. And they also double up as access to the flash modes, the self-timer mode, the macro mode or super macro mode, and the instant delete button if you have it in the playback mode. There's also a display back button that toggles between the different display modes, so you can have grid lines and have no information or information. And of course, you got your playback button so that you can play back all your images and look back at the LCD screen, of course. So that's a quick look at the SL series of cameras. There we go.
Well, a lot of improvements to very reasonably priced long zoom cameras. So if you're looking for a camera, you know, specifically to take pictures of your kids' sports, and you're not a real expert, and you don't have the budget to buy very expensive lenses on a DSLR, then
good value for money.
The SL camera is really good value. It kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out all our other videos, and follow this guy Billy on Twitter. And until next video, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys.